According to naturalists and atheists, nature is God. This video sheds light on atheism's religious dogma, which is called naturalism. Wait a minute, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Atheism is an assertion, it's an absence of one. Because most atheists claim that there lacks proof of God, therefore he doesn't exist. This statement is known as an appeal to ignorance fallacy. Despite the many fallacies theists encounter while debating atheists, part of the statement is true. Atheism is an empty byword. It is simply non-belief. You don't have to know anything about evolution to be an atheist. At the very least, in Christianity, you have to know who Jesus Christ is, for example, or in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad. Atheism does not affirm knowledge of anything except non-belief. Therefore, an argument against atheism is futile. However, it is the belief system of the atheist, naturalism, that must be addressed. Many atheists do not realize that they are philosophically naturalists, nor are they often called on this. Naturalism, historically and culturally, has been a religion that has emerged, branched out, and reinvented itself continuously for centuries. Naturalism is taught throughout our educational system, it's pop culture, so most atheists are naturalists by proxy. It's better not to include other theories, such as space aliens crash landing on Earth after transdimensional exodus to seed it and then rule as corrupt politicians. Hordes of die-hard atheists don their tinfoil hats in preparation of the arrival of the mothership. Strangely enough, the cat doesn't appear to be convinced. To be more objective, atheists are, by their affirmations, education, and reasoning, naturalists. Naturalism encompasses assertions about the nature of life, organisms, and the world around us. This belief system does not include God. It is a totally materialistic point of view. It is only during the recent century that naturalism has been thoroughly discussed and implanted within the educational system of most of the Western world. Atheists are not void of interpretations about the nature of the world. Their views are naturalistic, rife with symbolisms, holidays, political and ethical dogma, debates about evolution and natural selection. Is very clear. Naturalism is the religion of the self-proclaimed atheist. To get a clearer overview, let's define religion. A personal set or institutionalized system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices. Archaic, scrupulous conformity, consciousness, a cause, principle, or system of beliefs held to with ardor and faith. Here's one of the earliest illustrations of naturalism. It depicts a pyramid within a circle. Note, the man on its left is holding a device for measuring, a protractor. I won't get into the occult because I'm a Christian, but naturalism itself is only a branch of a much larger tree of occult mystery religions. In defense of this, I bet that the New Age atheist symbol is exactly the same as the old naturalist illustration depicting the occult pyramid in a circle. You can say it's a coincidence because it's, let's say, missing its protractor, just like this pyramid in a circle. Let's examine another atheist tattoo to see if it may be linked to the occult.
I'm so committed to being an atheist that I got the tattoo.
Symbols are often used in religion. The woman in a previous video expressed that she was so committed to her non-belief that she got a tattoo of it. Makes sense. Let's look at what I call the 3 tenets of faith. 1. Institutionalized system of beliefs. 2. Held with ardor and a sure commitment. As the woman with the dragon tattoo displayed, this is simply the fruit of faith, like any religion. 3. Supported by fallacies, appeals to authority, appeals to ignorance, and deductive reasoning. So atheists will, upon examination, display most of these patterns. Let's take a look at this atheist video and catch a few other atheists proclaiming their tenets of faith.
Atheist is a loaded word.
My immediate family, my mother and father, they were Christians. The other part of my family, my aunts and uncles, cousins, they were Muslims.
And I was effectively, in a nutshell, told to just stop questioning and believe.
The thing that makes me mad is when they just regard what we have worked so hard to figure out, which is, evolution and the scientific method.
This young man admits that he becomes so mad that others disregard what we, meaning atheists, have figured out. Unfortunately, I'm about 100% sure that this young man has not figured out anything or contributed any scientific literature or theories demonstrating or promoting the evolutionary process. This is clearly an emotional reaction to dissent, a common problem with any flock of believers. Now, most of what this young lady says is simply rife with fallacies.
Religion it decays society. I think it's harmful to people. They're missing something. Those people, there's something that they're unwilling to see or unable to see that is missing in their life.
Association fallacy, false attribution, i.e. the religion decays society comment she made, fallacies of composition, something is wrong with those people, they're missing something, regardless if they're missing something different, depressed, anxious, insecure, or even overconfident for that matter. That has nothing to do with the validity of the religion. Totally fallacious argument here, and this is rife in atheist speeches. Now, speaking about the power of religion, theists use faith, and atheists use inductive reasoning. They're actually one and the same. Induction cannot be justified in scientific inquiry because the purported justification, being inductive, is circular, which basically means that hypothesis is based on physical phenomena, and that physical phenomena's characteristics form the hypothesis. When scientists propose to establish a universal law from a set of observations to the scientific method, they must produce this law by a review of either all observations or some of the observations. But if they review some, the law will be insecure. However, some of the observations or inductions violate the universal law they're trying to establish. Therefore, induction allows for the possibility that the conclusion is false, even where all of the premises are true. For example, the gloves were found at the murder scene of Nicole Brown Simpson. The gloves did not fit O.J. Simpson, therefore O.J. Simpson did not murder Nicole Brown. The jury concluded that this was true, and many people believe otherwise. This happens all the time and time again, in an imperfect system based on observations which do not take into account all known phenomena, whether observed or otherwise. Induction cannot and does not lead to truth. It supposes that a particular instance or observation, a material position, when agreed upon, is universally true. But it also allows for the possibility for it to be false. Therefore, a scientific law, by its very nature, is inductive, which does not lead to a factual conclusion. This means it's a belief system, one based on the probability, which could be either true or false. Every religion has its central figure: Christ, Muhammad, Gandhi, Buddha, and of course there's Darwin. They set the philosophical example of how their followers should live or behave. If we take a look at some of Darwin's words, we can get to the root of the naturalist religion. Darwin said, and I quote, "A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. And, at some future period, not very distant, as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate and replace the savage races throughout the world." Looking at the world, we can definitely see this ideology, or religion, impacting mankind, especially politically. Darwin is the most influential figure of the naturalist religion. He was able to spread the doctrine around the world and influence millions. Darwin is celebrated by many atheists around the world. Darwin Day, as it's called, is a global religious holiday celebrating the birth of Charles Darwin. Every religion has a set of beliefs, doctrines, scrolls, or holy books. Religious books usually explain the origin of life and how one should lead their life or view life. The Origin of Species is the Bible of naturalism. Natural selection and evolution are two of its most prominent revelations. It explains the genesis of life forms or species, and subsequently shows how man is no more than a product of his cause and effect world. The book has been translated into hundreds of languages and circulated around the world. People have adopted the naturalist religion and ardently live their lives according to a materialistic perspective. Their most famous evangelists, Dawkins, crusades around college universities in the U.S. and abroad. His sermons are intellectually stimulating and quenches the thirst of those who seek approval and esteem. If naturalism was a science, then there would be no debate. Naturalism is philosophical. The debates between naturalism and theism are well known by either following. It's only atheists who don't realize that it's a religion. If naturalists weren't advocating their philosophy of where life came from and how it should be seen, then they'd be more objective about the possibility of being wrong. But you hear the exact opposite. Beyond the shadow of a doubt or facts, logic, it's proven, etc. To naturalists, it is the truth. Yale, Harvard, and many other state universities are the modern churches of the naturalist religion. It is there that most clergy, or college professors, indoctrinate the masses. Most people are more familiar with naturalist dogma than they are with anything theological. In fact, most are introduced to this as early as elementary school. It is through the academic system that Western society's self-worth and success are built and measured by how well we conform to standards. These standards, especially religious standards, are backed by authorities who profit from these very standards. Therefore, it is hard for anyone to deny the practicality and intellectual persuasiveness of adopting a naturalistic perspective. The success of naturalism is tied to an appeal to intelligence, success, and authority. This is very slightly to Christianity's appeal to wisdom, righteousness, and authority. Atheism and agnosticism are simply different denominations of the naturalist religion. Like many Christians today who never go to church, have not read the Bible, but understand the tenets of Christ, today's atheists are ardent supporters of Darwin, evolution, natural selection, nature over nurture, yet most have never read The Origin of Species or received a degree in science at a college or university. The parallels to religion are simply overwhelming. Thanks again.